On this episode of the Carolina Sports Guy, going to dive in and take an early look, folks, at the successful season Charlotte Hornets are having. Right now, they're sitting 5th place in the East, and they're 10-7. Before we get into today's video, make sure you subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It's free of charge. Pound that like button. Hit that bell notification to be notified of future videos like this on the Hornets. And hey, folks, leave me some comments. I love the dialogue. All right, folks, been wanting to do a video for some time, and thought I'd sit back and look at these Hornets and how well they've done. You're 10-7, but let's really look at two of the losses. They had a Boston game without Terry Rozier. They lost in overtime. Could have been a win. They lost against the Lakers. I know they didn't have LeBron, but it was on the road, that West Coast swing, and they lost that game in overtime. So 10-7, could easily say they could be 12-5. Now, as far as disappointing losses, they did lose a game at home to Cleveland after they had beaten Cleveland by 3, and that's one of those games you don't want to let slip away. Don't get me wrong, Cleveland's better. They've gotten better, but I just think it's one of those games where we're a better team and we let one slip away. The other loss that was absurd was losing to a terrible Sacramento team, and it was on the road, a West Coast swing, but we lost by like 30 at Sacramento. So that really was not indicative of, I think, how well they played. We've had some great wins. We've had Indiana's number this year, which has been good. We've actually won some games against some decent talent, beating Golden State when Golden State only had one loss. And we're currently on that 5-game winning streak, and it's looking really, really promising and good. So, beating Washington, who's up in the standings early right now. And we've got an upcoming game with Atlanta. But LaMelo Ball, man, we've got to do whatever what it is the second season. We've got to keep this guy here long term. He's a superstar to make it. His passing ability, shooting, although it's unorthodox. Miles Bridges is the one we got to focus on right now. We've got to extend him. Jordan, front office, Mitch Kupchak, you got to do what you got to do. We've let a lot of talent walk out this door. Some of the talent, I don't think we heard as much losing it, like Cody Zeller, Noah Vonleh, some of these guys. But even Frank Kaminsky. But we've got to stop letting people walk, people who are crucial. We've got to get Miles Bridges here long term. And like I said, we got to find a way to keep LaMelo Ball here. Very crucial. Bringing Ish Smith in so far has looked good. Kelly Oubre, my gosh, coming off the bench. I love his game. It's been very dynamic and good for us. James Bouknight, Kai Jones, some of these guys haven't really had a lot of minutes. They're developing. But I think in the long term, they're going to be fine. They're going to be okay. They're just adding depth right now. Cody Martin has looked the part. He's done good. P.J. Washington, I think I see a little bit more from him. Not going to complain. He's just off to a slow start, in my opinion. Gordon Hayward's played well if we keep him happy. Even Terry Rozier. Folks, if we'd had Rozier in the Boston game and went to overtime, we'd have won that game. But Terry Rozier, he's not having some of the games he had last year, but he's still critical. And when he gets on fire, folks, he's hard to stop. But that combination of Miles Bridges with LaMelo Ball and just adding some of the other guys in like Oubre, Mason Plumlee, we've got a really good, talented young team. And like I said, we're 5th in the East. We had that slump for a while. We lost about 4 in a row on the West Coast, the Lakers in overtime. That terrible loss to Sacramento, losing to the Clippers. There was another West Coast game we lost. I know that we had beaten Golden State at home, I believe. But, the team's just playing outstanding basketball right now. Recent wins over Memphis and Washington and Golden State just really have played well. And even beating Indiana here lately. So, folks, what do you think of today's video? Do you think the Hornets are finally turning that corner and we're going to be a playoff team? How deep of a run do you think we can crack the top 4, maybe even hitting that 3rd place slot is where I'm looking for. Leave me some comments. I love the dialogue. Pound that like button. Hit that bell notification to be notified of future videos on the Hornets. And by all means, folks, it's free. Doesn't cost anything. Subscribe. We'll see you next time on another episode of Carolina Sports Guy.